Hi, I might have just said that I don't really do discharge lamps. I think you'll agree I told a bit of a porky there. These are discharge lamps. Neons. I've got quite a few neons. I don't know why I've been sort of fascinated by them, I suppose, since being a kid. When my first encounter of those was someone gave me a very tiny half-watt indicator bulb, and later on this style, the Beehive, which I've got quite a few. Now let's have a quick look at these. I won't make this video too long. I can talk all day long and all night long, as a lot of you probably know. Anyway, we'll start off with I'm going to say the common or garden Beehive, but they're not common, not now. I remember these, I say, as a kid. They were sold for about 4 shillings and 7pence. There's an example there. This is one by Osram. I'm going to make these fairly quick. Resistors in the base. Funny enough, I've got another one just on the side here. They're everywhere. There's an earlier one showing more rounded effect on the coiled electrode at the top. That one's got no name on it, but it's a little bit earlier than the one I've just shown. And a couple more. These are slightly different again. They're all basically the same thing, got the same type of cap with the resistance wire inside. Not all of these had resistors in them, so if you get any of the old ones, please make sure there is a resistor in the cap. If you have to try it, wire it in series with about a 10 watt or 15 watt tungsten lamp. That'll reduce any current and hopefully save the lamp from exploding, which these do. If they're connected up direct to the mains without a resistor, they explode. Take it from me, I'm speaking from experience. I think the other one on here, I'm just putting those in. I think that's the same type actually. Yeah, there's the same one. These were made by Mazda. Got Mazda on the cap. I said when these were made, they were, I won't say common, but they were used as night lights for a photographic reproduction work where they were coated with a red dye on the outside. I've never actually seen one, but I was certainly told this. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to find a place to put these down, so excuse me. Now here we got a lamp from Russia. This was made by Melk, or ME. They show you the trademark. Very famous trademark as far as I'm concerned. Huh. So famous I can't even see it. Let's see if it's on the other one. There we are. That little M. Now if you've got a lamp that's got that symbol on it, a rounded type of M, it's Melk, the Moscow Electric Lamp Works. I understand quite a big factory and made quite a few lamps. The script on here is in Russian. I know when I got these lamps they said it was 30 watts, which they're definitely not. They're probably half to a watt. They're neons, and they made two types. One's for 220 volts and one for 110 volts. This one, I believe, read it right, because I don't want to put it into the wrong place and it causes trouble. So these are really collecting. They're collecting 127 volts. So that would be kept on 110 range. There's the, oh, excuse me, there's the electrodes, 2 half discs connected down. These did blacken up fairly easily, so if you've got one of these in the collection, try not to light it. If you do, only light it for short periods of time. You don't want them to go black. There's the resistor. You can see the resistor actually there. It's looks like a carbon film resistor, and I say that one is for 110 range. I should have one here that does a higher 240 range. There we go. I've got a pussycat meowing now. Now this one here, I think you'll find would be, it's a different resistor in there. It's another it's another carbon film type resistor. But that bit, look at the way they've done it. It's very crudely joined up, just twisted together. Obviously by hand, twisted together and placed inside. Hopefully that wire is not going to short. Well, in fact, there is a glass sleeve on one of the incoming wires. So I say the wattage of these was probably about 1 watt. There's the discs again, which is 2 electrodes. If you were, I'm telling you a lie, this one's got the 2 discs that are separate. They're not like a halved disc. I hadn't noticed that. See, I look but don't see. Let's put this up a bit higher. There's a complete disc, and that's a complete. The other one I showed you. Which one was it? It was that one there. That one there's it got 2 halves of disc. They're virtually the same length. What you do notice, this one's got a nice brass cap or base. This one's got the typical Russian style of cap, grey and looking drab. I don't know what that material is, but it's always the same on the Russian lamps. But I say always, they're not always, but in a lot of cases they are. Hey, that's those 2. Let's have a look what's coming up next. Now, I must show you these. These are flicker candles, probably the original type. They're donkey's years old. As far as I know, they're Japanese. Having said that, I can't see anything written on them, but I'm pretty sure they were Japanese. You look inside, they were made coloured, but there's the flicker of candle effects. These are old. I've got several of them as well. I don't know where they came from. Well, I will say they were pre-boot sale days. You occasionally could find these at antique shops, junk shops. I used to love junk shops. I remember the one down the Tottenham Court Road called Proops. They sold anything electrical, a lot of surplus stuff. Was I sad when that place vanished, turned into a bloody, excuse my French, into a cafe, nowhere near as interesting what it was. And it might have come from there. I remember when they used to sell Nixies, lamps, you name it, they sold it. Now we look at another one here. This one is covered in dust, antique dust I may say, been used. But you notice the viewing area is fairly clean. It's not, hasn't been sputtered too much. On the side it has. This is a 1/2 watt neon by Mazda. Type B. They used to be called Type, and that one is with resistor. You've got your voltage on the side, Type B. So you feel pretty safe that can be connected direct up. But with the American made lamps, beware. They sometimes show the voltage when they were even didn't have a resistor in them. So it was a bit dodgy. A few other bits and bobs. So I've got all these lamps down from upstairs. They're going to be looked at in great detail by my friend when he comes over. As I say, we doing a lot of work with the two collections. There's another neon. This is a new, well, it hasn't been used much. It's an old one, and you see on there this symbol is called a broad arrow, and it refers to government stuff, the forces, government lamps, is known as a broad arrow. You've got the name on there. BT. Oh, Stella. That's a badly written S. It looks like a B, but it's actually Stella. So that lamp would have been made by Philips, because Stella is a company under the umbrella of Philips, and probably made, it says it's made, it's got a 57, that could be a date, well I don't know, no it would be a date, I don't know. It was made in Britain, so whether that was made at the Hamilton Works or Wadden in Croydon, I don't know. I know someone that does know. So we wait and see. And it's a nice little half-watt neon. Now some of the smaller ones, I bought a job lot of I think it was that. Well, if it wasn't that one, it was very close to that one. This is an American lamp, NE49, and that's by GE, General Electric. Now that one I don't think would have a resistor in it, so you know, if you're going to use that, make sure there's a resistor in line. They're the two halves of the electrodes. Looks like a top cap, doesn't it really? Normally talk of top caps, you immediately think of the old-fashioned transistors. When I say the old-fashioned transistors, I remember them well. They started with the code XA. I'm pretty sure they were made by Edison. But this is a top cap to a neon lamp. Whether I cover all these, I don't know. Here we have a little indicator lamp, once again a neon. That is also by GE, General Electric. NE51 it looks like. It's probably in my, well it will be. I've got a catalogue on these which I took a copy and sent it across to France. So that was that one. Now, another neon. The wire here is held on by a spot welding, not by the normal soldering, which is interesting. And we look to see who it's made by. It's in a Russian, a Cyrillic type print. And I think that symbol there, look at another one that's clearer. I've got several of these. Yeah, these were sold by a dealer on eBay. They were quite cheap actually. Now we recognise, well I hope we do, we recognise that symbol again, M, the rounded M, Moscow Electric Lamp Company. The camera livens it up a bit. Oh, there's the M. A Cyrillic writing. These would definitely need a resistor in series. They're coated so they glow, I believe, different colours. Small bayonet cap, centre contact. We had that one before. This is the style that I bought a job lot. I think I bought about 190 of these, which we might resell some of those. We haven't decided what we're going to do with them. I'm sure between the two of us we're not going to need 100 of these lamps each, but they were cheap, so they had to be bought. NE17, slightly different to the other one, but these also need a resistor. I wish they would liven up. There we are, it's livening up now. GE. It's NE17. This one is definitely in the little catalogue I've got. Catalogue I got was also been a photocopy. The other one I've sent to France is photocopied on a photocopy. Here we got characteristic electrodes by Siemens. They tended to use this style of electrode. This is has not got a resistor. It says on the cap 10E6, whatever that means, probably a code. There's the name, Siemens. As I stated earlier, this is Siemens Brothers of Woolwich. And the way they do the name, they link the two S's. It's a well-known name. There were Siemens Brothers that came over from Germany many years ago, and they started the factory up. Looks like code 93. Someone knows what that code means. I don't. This, I think, was used in the last war, World War II. I've got several of these, except I can't find them. There's somewhere about. Another one. There's another one there. There's another one. They're all the same, but that innards is what they use. In fact, I can show you a lamp being used at the moment which uses the same type of electrodes. Let me show it to you. That one there, I'll turn it off. I use that to indicate whether, I don't know if you can see it okay, but it's got the same type of electrodes. Oh, here's one here. This is by Osram, which is a company which was at that time owned by Siemens. There's the innards again. It's all with one hand. I won't take it right out, but the electrode's the same. It's a screw base one, but that one's by Osram. And it's got the same type of electrode arrangement. I've got several of these. I think I picked these up as a job lot. Now let me show you this one. I would have done. That's not the one. It's obviously come out of its box. It's slightly different, so I don't know where it is. It's, for some unknown reason, it's popped out of its box. Anyway, I'm not going to put too many more up. It'll take ages to upload. There's another half watt with a different type of filament arrangement. This too was probably Army one. It's 0.5 watt. It's got a symbol on there of some sorts. I don't know what it says. It's not very clear. Oh, there we are. Around the cap there, it's got Osram. So this was made by Osram, made in England. GEC. It says round the cap. Another nice little lamp. Looks like it's had a knock and it's pushed the electrode over a bit, but it's as far as I know it's not shorting, so it should still work. I keep finding more. Oh, is that the one? Yes, I think we've found the lamp that come out of that case. It's Mazda. There's all the blurb on it. And it's partly frosted. That's outside frost. Whether that's been done by hydrofluoric acid, I think it probably has. Typical innards, the ring and the disc, electrodes. There'll be a resistor in this one as far as I know, but always read it's got 23240 volts, so I'd say there is a resistor in there, and that obviously belongs to that box. It's probably dropped out at some time. I could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to. And I say, I've got another one. I didn't even know I had that. That's another one. And written on it is 110 volts, which has been clearly written by someone on the base. So it's obviously got a resistor in there, but it's a resistor for 110 volts. It's exactly the same innards, and I would say it's also made by Mazda. That looks like it's had a knock at some time. I didn't do it, it's the way these arrive. You can see the innards there. They got that frost. That's two with the frost. This is the typical type of lamp. I think I might have shown that before, or one like it. I've got so many in there. Got the Mite Crystal Co, which is half Philips and half GEC. These boxes contain those Russian lamps. Got some more of the flicker candles. Oh look, that's got some writing on that. It looks like I was right. 220, 250 volts. Funny enough, I thought they were 110 volts, but they're not. 220, 250 volts. Japan. And a coding on there as well. So these lamps are actually Japanese. They are very old. I remember, well, I don't know where I got them from, but they definitely weren't from a boot sale. These were from time before boot sales, so they're quite old. I would say one of the original flicker candles, where they actually coated the glass with a spray paint. I've never used them, but they probably work still. What I'll do, it says 240 volts. Let's have a little look at one going. It doesn't go bang. Put it on the Variac. I'm not going to wind it up too much. That's about 110 volts. So it gives you an idea that it is still working. I won't keep it on too long. I'll turn it off, so that works. Early flicker candle. Anyhow, that's all for this time with these lamps. I've been talking too long, much too long. Keep finding stuff I haven't shown you. Oh no, it's the Osram one. Anyhow, these lamps are all downstairs because they're going to be sorted through by my friend who will be coming over, so we will sort these out, and no doubt some of these will be going back to France. Let me show you that one. There's an unusual one. It's got the miniature bayonet base like the other ones, but it's got a much smaller envelope, and it'll be a worker as well. Made by a name I've never heard of. It's got L-I-R-E, Lyre. And some coding after that. So I don't know. You definitely got L-I-R-E, so one for you, Alec, if you know that name. I'm blowed if I do. I didn't even know I had this. So anyhow, definitely the last one I'm going to show you today. Well, on this lot. I might put another lamp up. Oh, and I keep saying I'm going to go, and I keep finding something else. This one's built like a lens end torch bulb, but it's a neon. There's a name on it, Philips. It's made by Philips. If the name shows up, I don't know, I hope it does. And that's a little neon as well. That will obviously, like the other one, need a resistor in series. Anyhow, that's definitely the last one I'm going to show of this little batch. So I will say any questions asked. I know the answer, I'll get back to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask my friend. He might know the answer, he probably will. We end with that one. I haven't shown you that one, but that's another flicker candle. Got loads of those. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. Much obliged, and we might put something else up as well. Anyhow, thanks again. Thanks.